Welcome back to the Library of the Occult. I'm Saul Muerte, and today we step deeper into intersection of fiction and lived occult practice with J.W. Brodie-Innes and his novel The Devil's Mistress. Unlike many authors we've explored in this series so far, Brodie-Innes was not simply an observer of the occult, he was an active participant, a prominent member of the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, and a close associate of figures like S.L. MacGregor Mathers. Brodie-Innes wrote from within the world he depicts. His fiction carries the weight of experience and belief and internal conflict within one of the most influential occult movements of the late 19th and early 20th centuries. Published in 1915, The Devil's Mistress arrives at a fascinating moment in history, a world on the brink of modernity, yet still deeply entangled in mysticism, secret orders, and esoteric knowledge. It is within this tension that the novel finds its voice. John William Brodie-Innes was a Scottish lawyer, novelist, and occultist whose life straddled both rational and mystical worlds. When he maintained a respectable public career, his involvement in occult circles placed him at the center, at the very heart of one of the most controversial spiritual movements of his time. The Golden Dawn, to which he was devoted, was an organization dedicated to the study and practice of ritual magic, drawing on a wide array of esoteric traditions. From Kabbalah to Hermeticism, internal conflicts, rivalries, and ideological divisions within the order were well documented, and these tensions inevitably seep into Brodie-Innes' fiction. In The Devil's Mistress, we are not simply reading a story about the occult, we are reading a dramatization of the anxieties, temptations, and dangers that those within such circles believed to be very, very real. At its core, The Devil's Mistress is a novel about temptation, power, and moral descent. The story centers around a seductive and dangerous female figure, the titular The Devil's Mistress, who embodies both allure and corruption. Through her, Brodie-Innes explores the idea of spiritual seduction, the notion that the path of forbidden knowledge is often paved with desire. This is a reoccurring motif in occult literature, but here it is given a particular intimate and personal dimension. The threat is not distant or abstract, it is emotional, psychological, and deeply human. One of the novel's most compelling elements is its exploration of dualities, light versus darkness, discipline versus indulgence, knowledge versus corruption. Brodie-Innes presents the occult not as inherently evil, but as a dangerous tool, one that requires control, discipline, and moral clarity. Without these, the practitioner risks losing themselves entirely. This reflects the internal philosophy of many esoteric traditions, particularly those of the Golden Dawn, where spiritual advancement was seen as a path fraught with peril. What sets The Devil's Mistress apart from many other entries in the Library of the Occult is its sense of authenticity. Where writers like Dennis Wheatler constructed intricate fictional systems of ritual and belief, Brodie-Innes draws from practices he himself engaged with. The rituals, the hierarchies, the spiritual stakes all carry an air of lived reality. This lends the novel a unique texture. The horror is not exaggerated for effect, it is grounded in the genuine fears of those who believed that misusing occult knowledge could lead to real tangible consequences. In this sense, the novel sits closer to the works of Moonchild by Aleister Crowley, where fiction becomes a vehicle for exploring and at times justifying real occult ideologies. While The Devil's Mistress may not have achieved the same level of recognition as other occult classics, its significance lies in its insider perspective. It offers modern readers a rare glimpse into how early 20th century occult practitioners viewed their own world, not as a fantasy, but as a structured system of belief within where real dangers and real consequences lie. This perspective would go on to influence later portrayals of occult societies in both literature and film, where secret orders are depicted not merely as narrative devices, but as a complex hierarchical institutions with their own rules and philosophies. Within the Library of the Occult, the Devil's Mistress occupies a unique and important position. If The Witch of the Prague explored psychological influence and to the Devil a Daughter presents organized occult conspiracy, then Brodie-Innes, his novel, offers something else entirely: the occult from within. It is a work that doesn't just depict ritual, it reflects belief. It doesn't just warn of danger, it understands it. This makes it an essential, if sometimes overlooked, entry in the canon. The Devil's Mistress is a novel that may not shout for attention, but it lingers. Its power lies in its sincerity, in the sense that what it portrays was, for its author and his contemporaries, deeply real. It reminds us that the occult, at its core, is not just about mystery or spectacle, it's about human desire. The desire for knowledge, for power, for transcendence, and the risks that come with pursuing those devices and those desires when it is pushed too far. As we continue our journey through the Library of the Occult, works like this serve as a reminder that some of the most compelling stories are not those imagined from afar, but those drawn from lived experiences. Thanks for joining me for another exploration of the Library of the Occult. Until next time, I'm Saul Muerte. Ancient Shadows, Modern Stories.